Business Now Capital Edition is brought to you by Sprint. Sprint together with Nextel. Yes, you can.
Welcome to Business Now Capital Edition. I'm Cynthia Steele. This is the first in a series of programs examining the growing partnership between the federal government and the private sector. There's been an evolution in the federal-private relationship, one that some observers call the perfect storm. The downsizing of our military and civil service and increased government partnering with the private sector to do its work. Now, today we'll look at this partnership through the work of three organizations. We'll go inside one of our region's newer and fastest-growing information technology companies. And we'll report on two firms celebrating decades of excellence in solving problems for the nation. First, the story of a company born 45 years ago with a unique mission, helping government logistics managers balance cost, effectiveness, and risk. Logistics is far more complex today.
The year 1961. Robert McNamara, the new Secretary of Defense in the Kennedy administration, forms LMI, Logistics Management Institute, with a single mission: to solve the government's most complex management issues. Today, as LMI celebrates its 45th anniversary, this not-for-profit government consulting firm is still recognized as a world leader in logistics. But now it's more than 650 professionals work in all aspects of government management and agencies.
What we had developed in our first 40 years in the Defense Department was directly applicable to the civil agencies, and they had an appetite for it, and so I'm very happy that we're working across the whole federal government. The vision I've given the company is I want to be the best strategic government consulting firm in the business across all the functional areas that the federal government needs help in.
Vice President Susan Marquis puts it this way: LMI has a passion for public service.
And I think that passion comes as a very direct result of the culture of this company, which is enabled by our not-for-profit status. We are able to really focus on the mission of supporting the federal government, of making the federal government better.
LMI is a blend of seasoned retired military and federal employees and talented younger staffers. Nearly 80% of the staff have advanced degrees and 7% have doctorates. They work on a wide range of projects. One is helping transform the $33 billion military health system. It provides care for 9.2 million people. LMI recommended 24 major innovations to help reduce costs without compromising quality and patient access to health care. The government is implementing 23 of those recommendations.
This is a project that is producing real change within the organization that we can see down on the ground in terms of improved support for operational military medical capabilities and improved health care for beneficiaries.
LMI is also working on issues of national importance in the civil sector. The company's consultants and researchers are providing analytical support to help build the next generation air transportation system and keep our skies safe.
Our team has engineers, economists, operations researchers, and even a physicist, because that's what you need in order to understand how the system operates.
In recent years, LMI has worked for every cabinet department, the House and Senate, many independent agencies, and a variety of state and local governments. To serve those clients, LMI's expertise now covers acquisition, asset and facilities management, financial management, information and technology, and organizations and human capital, in addition to logistics.
As the federal government workforce either reduces in size or the workforce starts to retire, we will be there and available to the federal government to replace some of those skills that might walk out the door. And I think our people, because so many of them are retired federal employees, thirst for that sort of opportunity.
Opportunities such as fighting the war on terrorism, disaster relief, or supporting our military in Iraq and around the world. LMI's Ray Scheibel headed a team that prepared a revised strategy for improving U.S. readiness by pre-positioning stocks of military equipment and supplies.
Our customers know that we have experienced staff that know their operation, that know the history of their command, they know their missions and capabilities, and we like to say that our team can hit the ground running.
Being a not-for-profit means that we're not focused on shareholder equity, we're focused on outcomes rather than income. When we come into a government consulting relationship, we're not trying to maximize profit, and any fee we do make goes back into the training of our staff.
When Bill and Melinda Gates and Bono were named People of the Year by Time magazine, many realized for the first time the breadth of the philanthropic work by the Gates Foundation in providing millions of doses of pediatric vaccines to developing countries. To better understand the global health supply chain, the Gates Foundation turned to LMI.
We're dealing with the actual saving of lives, the application of tremendous resources to accomplishing an international goal that is exceptionally important.
It's a new way of looking at it, and I think that the recommendations that we will come up with will, in the end, help the Gates Foundation to better invest their money to increase access for kids.
In 2004, LMI established a one-of-a-kind resource, the LMI Research Institute. Its mission, to seek revolutionary advances in government management. Robert McNamara is part of LMI's history. He's also part of its present. In 2005, the consulting firm dedicated its conference center to Secretary McNamara. Today, you'll find senior executives and younger staffers united behind the company's original mission. And they agree it's a great place to work. The turnover rate is less than 10% annually.
That LMI has the complete package for a modern worker. I think that the work that we actually do here is engaging and it's challenging.
The best thing about working at LMI is being a part of the mission to improve public sector management through thought leadership and innovative solutions.
It's a great place as a junior employee. I have opportunities that colleagues of mine don't have at other companies to really show leadership skills.
It's very merit focused. It truly does allow you to get out there to make a difference.
More than anything else, they want to make a difference. They want to have an impact. They want to help the government succeed.
And Admiral Don Pilling believes the opportunity to help the government succeed, to help make a difference, has never been greater. I'm Len Deibert, Business Now.
Ford product engineers work hard. Anybody can see that. Since they need to be with the cars, we took out their desk phones and extended the workplace with Sprint Business. It's helping us shorten the time from concept to showroom, and it's easy to reach them. Dan?
Dan's gonna have to call you back.
By saying yes to working from anywhere, we're building more new products faster.
With Sprint Business, you can make just about any place a workplace. Yes, you can.
If you rely heavily on your personal computer, imagine what information technology means to the world's biggest customer, the U.S. government. Recently, we sat down with Chris Dorobeck, executive editor of Federal Computer Week, and he pointed out the incredible breadth and opportunity in the federal IT market.
It's everything from a website, a federal website that you may go to, going to irs.gov to pay your taxes, to some GPS, handheld GPS unit that some soldier is using that they can then give coordinates to some Air Force pilot, and then they can direct their smart bombs on a specific site. It's a huge range of stuff, and it's mainframe computers, it's desktop computers, it's an incredible amount of stuff. And that's why it's almost $70 billion a year that this country spends on information technology. And the government is a huge user of this because it's a huge organization. The government does everything from collect taxes, fight wars, law enforcement, treasury, anything that you do, the government does, and in a huge scale. And so IT is absolutely essential to being able to do all of those missions. The government buys more IT than any other organization in the world, and how can you ignore that, especially if you're a company of any significant size?
While the Cold War was raging, a one-time Illinois farm boy turned senior Pentagon scientist used his $5,500 savings account to create a company that today has been called a national treasure.
Joseph Rozek is a former White House Special Assistant to the President for Homeland Security. He was in the Pentagon when the terrorists struck on 9/11. Rozek knows SPC and admires its founder, Ron Easley.
He got in there, rolled up his sleeves, and helped, and was instrumental in helping the United States win the Cold War. Shortly and prior to 9/11 and shortly thereafter, Ron looked at what he could do in terms of Homeland Security and reorganize this company to begin focusing on that.
Founder, Chairman, and CEO Ron Easley is modest about SPC's achievements. But on reflection, he believes another of the company's greatest contributions has been helping develop our stealthy weapons system, ultimately aiding the U.S. in how to design a nearly invisible plane or ship.
There we were able to take other ideas and apply them to the requirements of the country, namely how do you build an airplane that looks no bigger on a radar than a BB. And then if you have the BB, how do you tell if it's still a BB?
SPC's expertise in detection of low observables has led to numerous radar advances and patents. The latest is EDAP, Enhanced Detection Adjunct Processor. Not a very sexy name, but EDAP will be used to detect small boats which might prey on cruise ships or attack U.S. warships. EDAP might have prevented the suicide attack on the guided missile destroyer USS Cole in Yemen waters in 2000.
And SPC has found some innovative approaches for suppressing that C-clutter return to make it easier to detect particularly small targets on the sea surface.
It takes about 6 scans and you'll see the nuisance targets generally disappear, and what remains on the screen is simply the target of interest at about 7 miles range.
EDAP was recently tested for the Navy using a small reflector target riding on an inner tube.
Frankly, it's one of the developments that I believe could revolutionize the ability of existing commercial radars, navigation radars, to take on this type of threat. And it's that risk-taking, that problem-solving, that innovative spirit which really leads to the breakthroughs and keeps things fresh, frankly.
That spirit is evident throughout the Arlington-based company, according to Charles Cragen, former acting Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness.
SPC is a company that has bright, motivated, talented people with diverse backgrounds who come together and can collaborate on these new ideas and serve our customers by assisting them as they look for new ways to protect America.
Another example of SPC's ingenuity is its development of a garnet charge, a countermeasure to be used by bomb squads against fusing and firing systems in vehicle bombs or explosives used by suicide bombers.
If you can interrupt that firing train at any point prior to it getting to the main charge, then you win. It doesn't matter how complicated that device is. It's not simply trying to get something into the marketplace. It has to be effective. It has to be reliable, because those are our brothers that are going to use it.
Throughout its history, SPC has supported the Pentagon's research and development arm, DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency.
We have a direct impact on the war on terrorism and to supporting the folks on the front line. And in addition to that, our work in the current arena, we are helping to develop technologies that lead to real products 10 to 15 years in the future.
Since its founding in 1981, the Tri-Data division of SPC has developed an international reputation for expertise in fire and rescue, emergency medical services, and assisting the first responder. Tri-Data maintains a national database of more than 15 million emergency incidents.
Tri-Data has done some landmark studies as far as the psychological aspects of firefighter safety, some deployment things, comparing the American fire service with the international fire community. It's just study after study that pushes the advancement of the American fire service.
The data in Tri-Data is there intentionally. And we try to lay out the numbers for the citizens so that it's not just a question of politicians arguing which neighborhood should get another station or citizen pressures, but saying, okay, here's what it's going to cost to add resources.
Arlington County Fire Chief James Schwartz was in command when the fire and rescue teams responded to the 9/11 attack on the Pentagon.
When the policymakers in Arlington County saw the experience of 9/11 and were able to hold that up as a representation of some of the things, a real-world experience of some of the things that Tri-Data had identified in the study that they had done just a year before, I think it really helped to motivate the policymakers to start to move in the direction to make some of the changes that were necessary.
And since 9/11, SPC scientists have been working to prevent another devastating attack on the U.S., this one by sea.
I think we have the only correct approach to the problem. The problem is very specific. Shipping containers are one way for terrorists to put a nuclear weapon into a port in the U.S. and explode it.
SPC believes it has the answer, a system for monitoring shipborne containers around the world. It's now testing its third generation of the system it calls Global Track.
Coming up on Business Now, we'll look at Global Track, a system designed by SPC to safeguard our ports and seaborne cargo. But first, Kate Brooks reports on the latest technology to protect airline travelers.
Some of the increased security measures you can see. More law enforcement officers and more security checkpoints. But it's also the technology you may not see that the TSA says is helping make air travel more secure than ever before.
We are checking 100% of the luggage for explosives, number one. We are checking every person for metal objects and explosives, number two, going through the checkpoints. So that should make you feel secure, absolutely.
Since the new year began, 100% of all bags are screened before being checked onto a plane. That's up from 5% before 9/11. Now in America's airports, 1,100 explosive detection system machines, plus more than 4,500 explosive trace detection devices. A Boeing Siemens Airport security team was responsible for installing the equipment.
We had a contract with Boeing and the Transportation Security Administration to deliver to 438 airports across the globe. Literally, we went to Guam, we went to Hawaii, we went to all 48 continental United States.
The baggage screening system is now up and running in more than 400 commercial airports nationwide, with 33,000 new federal baggage screeners checking more than 2 million pieces of luggage every day.
It really is a key element to be able to look inside the bag, understand what's in it, and be able to utilize some very sophisticated technology to ascertain whether or not a potential explosive device is in there.
Keep in mind, the advanced technology and machines at our nation's airports are not intended to replace the human eye. And regardless of what color terror threat hangs over our country, if you see anything suspicious at the airport, you are urged to tell authorities. Reporting in Washington, D.C., I'm Kate Brooks.
Sprint Business is reinventing the yes man, turning the yes man into someone who can work from almost anywhere. And now that Sprint and Nextel have come together, you can work in and out of the office more efficiently the way 96% of the Fortune 1000 already do. So saying yes from just about anywhere with speed and confidence makes me a yes man. I'm a yes man.
With Sprint Business, you can make just about any place a workplace. Yes, you can.
The horrific events of 9/11 made us all aware of terror from the sky, but far less attention has been paid to threats by sea and the vulnerability of U.S. ports. With its 35-year history of assessing risk and helping defend the nation, System Planning Corporation has developed Global Track, a systems approach to safeguarding U.S. ports, seaborne cargo, and cargo transported over our rail and highway systems.
I think the ports offer the enemy, the Islamic insurgency, a way of bringing in the nuclear or radiological weapon. I think today they are porous, and that we need to take that threat serious.
If you looked at the ports of New York, New Jersey, and Boston being shut down, either one of them or both of them, you're looking at curtailing oil within 3 days. And when I mean no oil, I'm talking virtually no oil.
We know that the economic impact of a supply chain stoppage is approximately $1 billion a day in just one port alone.
Beth Ann Rooney and Jay Grant are on the waterfront, so to speak, and they know that in addition to shutting off the supply of home heating oil in the Northeast, an incident at a U.S. port would quickly affect virtually every American in some way. As they see it, billions are needed to protect the ports and secure the supply chain.
One of the ways of doing that is to making sure that there are seals on containers.
Rooney agrees. She says securing the cargo in the millions of containers entering the U.S. is one of our greatest challenges.
If somebody has cut into a container, entered a container via a vent, or taken the doors off, there's a series of sensors which would allow the federal government to know that this container has been breached. Otherwise, we're just going on trust and verification after the container has already arrived in the United States.
System Planning Corporation identified this problem quickly after 9/11. It's now testing its third generation of GlobalTrack, a container tracking and security system. GlobalTrack includes an information management bureau for improved global supply chain visibility and more efficient management of economic goods from overseas.
Our talking boxes and our sensors are able to provide an alert immediately when it happens. So we will know if a terrorist is inserted in one of the containers or if someone is opening a door for an intrusion that is not supposed to happen. It was developed to be an affordable solution, acceptable both in the government marketplace and the private sector. Its gift is that it knows on 24/7 the contents, location, and condition of a container all around the globe. The power, however, of the solution is a systems engineering approach that ties technology to information.
You can put a robot, like a Martian robot, like we send to Mars. You put it inside the container, you patch it on the wall, and then an SPC operator back here in the U.S. will talk to the robot.
And I'm going to simulate an acoustic event by banging on the side of the box, which could be someone breaking in, drilling into the side of the container. The unit wakes up, turns on all its functions, tells me what's going on, and you can see all of its data: acoustic max, the voltage, what caused the event, serial number, where it is, what time the event's generated, as well as the optic data and temperature data.
We allow the sensors in this unit to describe information they have and send that back to a person in the loop who sits at the Information Management Bureau. He can then communicate with the box and ask for additional information so that we can minimize the false alarms that come through the system.
SPC scientists believe they have the best approach, based on their hardware sensor solutions, extensive testing, and their work in container physics, which combines interaction between the GlobalTrack units and people staffing the Information Management Bureau.
The big part of what we've done is taken our stealth radar technology and put it into the container technology and been able to reduce the price to a few $100s, whereas everyone else is charging thousands of dollars to accomplish the same task. And that makes it doable.
Linda Easley emphasizes that SPC's end-to-end systems engineering solution provides more than just security at sea.
What it also does is provide early return on investment, which means that will get businesses' attention that it's not going to cost them money, it's going to save them money in improving efficiencies in the maritime transportation system being improved. The payback period for GlobalTrack, which is just a couple of $100, is the second day of a 21 average day container trip.
SPC says GlobalTrack has proven highly reliable in testing in Operation Safe Commerce and the real-world environment. And people like Beth Ann Rooney await the day when security is an integrated part of the real-world supply chain.
So that 5 years from now, Walmart and Home Depot are not thinking about adding security and security being a burden, but rather it's fully a part of what they're doing every single day.
Another sign of the federal partnership with the private sector is the fact that the U.S. is spending billions annually on outsourced IT, much of it right here in the Greater Washington area. Northern Virginia is home to the greatest concentration of these private IT companies. In Business Now's Lynn Deibert takes us inside one of them, a fast-growing firm that proves the American dream is alive and well in Fairfax County.
It is really an American dream come true.
United States give a lot of people a lot of opportunity. I always feel like I have to cherish the opportunity I have.
Sherry and Jeff Wong are a husband and wife team who lead the information technology consulting firm Pyramid Systems Incorporated. They came to the U.S. from Taiwan, met in college, and merged their talents at Pyramid in 1999. From a modest beginning, Pyramid today is recognized as one of the fastest-growing technology companies in the U.S. and Canada. It ranked 174th on the Deloitte & Touche Fast 500 and 16th on the Virginia Technology Fast 50. The Wong's cultural roots seem to permeate the company and foster a deep desire to understand the customer.
Whenever we start a project, the first thing we want to do is have established a great communication with our client. From there, that we understand their need. So we can do minor adjustment from time to time, to make sure that we share the common goal, and in the end, the product that we deliver is what they want.
By communicating with our customers, we will be better use our innovative technology on the market and provide that solution to them, and that will benefit our clients and also benefits our taxpayer.
We don't have packaged solutions. We are problem solvers. So what we try to do is we have a business first philosophy, and what that means is that we spend a significant amount of time with our customers learning their business, learning what causes them pain.
To ease that pain, Pyramid provides a wide array of IT products and services. They include software engineering, system design and integration, web integration, project management, and program and administrative support.
Instead of hiring a lot of people with only one skill set, if you can have a staff to build up their own different skill sets and utilize them, and that can save a lot of money. And that's how we do it to keep the budget intact.
Anytime we tackle a project, we think about the taxpayers and ways of doing streamlined business for them. By being able to provide those innovative ideas to them, it provides for greater efficiency and ultimately cost savings for our taxpayers.
From its headquarters here in Fairfax, Pyramid Systems serves an impressive list of clients in federal, state, and local governments, including the Department of Transportation, FEMA, the Navy, and HUD. The company recently was cited as the third largest recipient of HUD contracts in the women-owned business category. Linda Williams, who has more than 20 years of IT experience, headed a Pyramid team that customized software to automate a manual system for 60,000 HUD industry clients.
Through our implementation of some very creative technological solutions, we've been able to allow the HUD client to approve applications much quicker and much more efficiently.
When I go to the clients, when people see me, they always stop by and then chat and telling me that how good my staff is helping them out, how good that our company is helping them out, and help them to reach their goal. At
the foundation of Pyramid's success are its people, new ideas, and new technology. And it's paid off in revenue growth of 1,058% from 2000 to 2004.
We don't grow for the sake of growth. We grow so that we can better meet the needs of our clients.
We will not sacrifice the quality and integrity of the company for the sake of growth.
With this focus on quality and service, the company used its staff and intellectual capital to create a customized intranet portal to better serve its 40 employees, customers, and to meet future challenges.
The client benefits that we allow certain portions of the portal open to the client, and we post all our deliverables on the portal. So rather than emailing things to them, they can log on to the portal and everything is housed there for them to view.
As a minority-owned company with skills and experience, Pyramid grew dramatically when it received a major HUD contract under the SBA's 8A program.
We benefit greatly from the program. But more importantly is that we like to extend this success to people who has the similar background. And today, 70% of our employees are minority.
We have to help each other out. And since we're immigrants here in the United States, and we've been doing well, and it's our responsibility to reach out to other people that needs.
The company takes its name seriously. Pyramid's goal is to build a solid, long-lasting foundation and provide its customers with solutions that last.
I believe that in the next 5 years, the company will be double at least, and more importantly, that we can continue to provide the quality service to our client and offer a friendly environment for our employees.
I'm Len Deibert, Business Now.
And that's the inaugural edition. I'm Cynthia Steele, inviting you to join us next time for Business Now Capital Edition. If you would like to revisit individual stories or watch the show in its entirety, visit www.businessnow.com or the site for Federal Computer Week, www.fcc.gov. fcw.com.